Hello, everyone, and welcome to Life with Liz and Bees. I'm Sammy.
And I'm Hunter. Today we're going to be doing a Q&A. You guys submitted a bunch of questions on our Instagram. So what we're going to do is we're going to go from the first submitted questions to the last, and we're going to get through as many as we can. Some of them we're going to expand on, so we may not get through as many as you guys think we're going to get through, but just listen up, and I think we'll have some really fun questions and answers we'll give you guys. So.
And before we start, Hunter, can you forgive me?
Yeah, so we just did like a whole hour long podcast, and
My
Sam didn't turn her mic on.
Turned on. You guys, we ended the episode and I went to go turn my microphone off and it was off. And I went, Hunter, did you hear me that entire episode? And we realized my microphone was off.
Like, you can hear her. I can hear her right here, but I don't hear her in both. I only hear her in this one. And I just realized as soon as she turned it on, I was like, oh my gosh, I didn't hear you.
So you guys, it's 10 o'clock, but we love you enough to redo this whole episode for you right now. So stick with us. We'll see you on the other side.
All right. All right, Sam, first question.
Let's hear it.
You ready? What is the hardest part of parenthood?
Okay, this one's easy for me. First thing that comes to mind is anger.
Yep.
Okay, I struggle with being quick to anger. And literally the other day, Lily spilled something while I was like doing the dishes, cooking dinner, holding Leighton, like all the things. And I just completely snapped at her. I was so quick to anger. And the second that I did that, the Holy Spirit was like, okay, like love, joy, peace, patience, kindness. Like you need to have the fruits of the Spirit because you're mean and you don't need to talk to your daughter this way. And like, there's a difference between like letting your child know that you're the authority figure and then just like totally being mean to them.
Yeah.
And I really struggle with anger, especially in those moments when I'm just overwhelmed doing a lot. Right. And then I just snap because I'm not with her. I'm not in the moment with my daughter because I'm doing something else. And God, he just convicts me every time. So I'm really struggling with that.
Yeah, I would have to agree. I've definitely struggled with anger a little bit more recently, but patience I think is the hardest one for me. And I've always been a patient person, so that's kind of been a new kind of like almost emotion I have to learn to control. It's funny, we ask our kids to control their emotions, but we can't seem to control ours. So it's pretty ironic when you really think about it, but it's always when we are at our busiest is when we're struggling, I think. So like as simple as me watching, golf or football on the TV, and now Leighton wants to cry. She was quiet, 3 hours before anything started, but right when it starts, she wants to cry. I'm like, what the heck? Like, come on, give me a break here.
It's really hard when you don't have a supportive partner because like the other day I had a total mental breakdown and Hunter literally walked in the door from work and I'm crying. I'm just crying, and he grabs my face and he's like, you're doing a great job. Like, have grace on yourself. But Sam, remember, Lily is processing and learning boundaries and these emotions for the very first time in her life, just like you're processing and learning how to discipline her.
Yeah.
And he's like, it's hard. It's new for the both of you. So give yourself grace and just know that she still loves you. Like, and every time I yell at Lily, she like either laughs or she like comes over to me right after and gives me a hug. And I'm like, gosh dang it. Like, why was I even mean to her? Like, she's just so loving and so kind, and also gets on every single one of my nerves every single day. So it's just like, it's hard. But for me, that's the hardest part.
Yeah, it's so funny to think about, again, like what you're saying with like it being our first time, and it's just like it's their first time. I always think of our parents when I was growing up. I always thought of it always being like their third or fourth time. Like they should know what to do. They should know how to do it, because we always thought they just had this wisdom and this smartness, but like every day is new for them too. Like every part of their life is new for them. There's nothing that has been repeated. They learn from their parents, but again, everything is new to them as well. So if you can kind of go into that with that mindset, it's like, all right, this is new. Let's learn. Let's get better. Let's do the best we can. So, all right, next question. Continuing with the kind of kids question here.
Okay.
All right. How many kids do you want to have?
All right, let's get into it. Here's my thought process. We've got 2 girls, and I really would like a boy. The desire of my heart is to have a boy, although I will be grateful and happy with whatever the Lord blesses me with. But let's just be real here. I want a little Hunter that is running around because my heart desires that. So if we have a boy next, I would totally be okay with not having any more children. But also, our life depending on where our life is in the next 5-ish years, I want to have all my children by the age of 30. I'm 25. So I could probably pop out 3 more kids by 30. So I'm totally down for 5 or 6 kids if you want to go for it.
Yeah, I mean, again, I think it depends on where we're at in life. Like, if you're still a working mom,
Yeah, not doing it.
by yourself doing it, it's impossible, right? Like, maybe one more we can add on doing that, but I don't think we could.
Well, because we have certain lifestyle choices we want to make raising our kids. We want to
Yeah.
homeschool. We want to
Mhm.
home make. We want to homestead.
and
we want
you
to,
can't do 6 of those
like,
while
I
running 2
can't be
businesses,
working
3
full-time,
businesses.
or like working part-time and full-time and also be a full-time homemaker, homeschooler, all of that. I
Yeah,
either need
it's
to
impossible.
make a decision for that, but I can have side hustles. I'm not saying I can't have side hustles, but like my kids need to be my full priority. And so our life would have to look different in the next 3 to 5 years if we want to pop out 4 to 6 kids.
So the honest truth is, the question is, how many kids do you want to have? For me, it's unlimited. I don't have a number. It's more so whatever happens. And I wasn't that way. I actually, after we had Lily, I was like, let's have one more, call it a day. But then I heard someone say the other day, they're like, how many times have you heard a 70-year-old say, I wish I had less kids. I wish I had a smaller family.
Right.
Nobody ever says that. They always say, I wish I had a bigger family. Or they say, I love the size of my family,
And
so
every
for me,
time I
it's
see
like,
big
I want a
families,
big
I'm
family.
like, they just, it's chaos, but like, how much fun is that?
yeah.
Like all of my mom friends
It's a
that
new thing
have
every day.
like 5 or 6 kids, it's just like, you're like the Brady Bunch. You're just like truly going through life, doing all the crazy fun things. And I don't know, I just kind of want that. So yeah, we'll see. But anywhere from 3 to 6 kids, we're thinking.
3 to 6 kids.
It's kind of a wide range. We'll
Yeah,
see.
it's
We'll
a
see
wide
what God
range for
blesses
sure.
us with.
Yeah.
We trust
I'm
him.
excited. I'm excited for the no sleep, but it's just not going to happen anymore.
We'll sleep when we're dead. It's okay.
We're going to Texas next week or next month. We can
Yeah.
sleep there and then
Yep.
wake up at 7 a.m.
for business meetings all day. It'll be fine.
Sam told me the other day, she said, at least we get to sleep in Austin next month. I said, Sam, we got to be up at 6:30. Not probably
I'm like, never
earlier than
mind,
that
Never mind.
to go. And then at night, I'm sure everyone's going to want to go have dinner or whatever.
Yeah, we're gonna be up late.
Yeah, we're
But
going to
at
be up late.
least we don't have to be up maybe at midnight and 3 a.m. with a baby.
The good news is we're going to get into this next question.
Okay, let's hear it.
Do you drink alcohol? We don't really drink much. So
okay.
for that, going out late, we don't have to worry about
we'll be fine
drinking
with
too
that.
much.
Okay, do I drink alcohol? Yes. But Hunter, I want you to kind of share your personal testimony and just kind of journey with this, and then I'll kind of share mine. So
Yeah. So for me, I've never been a big drinker. I think I've maybe average 1 to 2 drinks a year.
Yeah.
I don't drink too much.
And it's usually because I'm like, Hunter, have a drink on your birthday or at Christmas, and like he doesn't care, and I
yeah,
love
I've just
that
never
about you.
I've never cared. And so for me, I think it's always been like I can have fun without having to drink alcohol. I think a lot of people struggle to have fun, to open up without having alcohol, which is funny. I'm an introvert, so you would think
You need to get loose.
you'd think I would need to get loose, but like if you get to know me, I'm pretty loose right away. I don't really care
Yeah.
what you think about me, and
Pretty loose right away.
I'll dance.
Oh yeah, Hunter's
I'll dance.
fun.
I'll
It's so funny when we go to like weddings or something. People are like, "How many drinks did he have?" I'm like, "None."
not one.
I'm like, "That's just Hunter for you."
That's just his Dougie.
I'm like,
he's got a crazy
life,
Dougie.
He's the life of the party, fully sober. It's amazing.
Yeah, so for me, that's just always that's helped, but that's helped with me not really wanting ever wanting alcohol. But growing up, I grew up with alcohol always surrounding me, and it's always led to something bad. So whether it's breaking up somebody, like if somebody's in a relationship, it's somebody's cheating on the other person, or somebody's getting in a fight with the other person and they're breaking up because of the alcohol caused that, or friendships, or work, or waking up the next day for let's just say a game, let's say it's a professional baseball player. They're waking up the next day, they never play as well, whatever it may be. I've just always noticed that alcohol has just never really been good. And so for me, I just realized there's really no point. And then when I was like 13, I really wanted to get to know alcohol. It's like, what is this?
At 13.
At 13. My parents always had like Jello shots or something in the house for them.
The good stuff.
Not for me. And I was not supposed to be grabbing this. They didn't give me permission to go do this, but they would have stuff in the cabinets and I would always know where it's at. And I would, try some every so often, maybe a shot here and there. I'd never get drunk,
Gross.
but I would definitely
What
try
kind of
some.
shot? Probably like Fireball or like Tito's.
Grape Sky.
Ew, that's
Grape
disgusting.
Sky. That's a specific. I'm not going to say Pacific, but specific one. But and then I met Christ at 15, and it was almost like the perfect, like, oh my gosh, this like is awesome. Like, I don't need this alcohol to fulfill this void of wanting to be happy or to get out of my state of mind. And I think most people drink alcohol to fill this void.
Yeah,
and
they do. Yeah.
I'm not saying that's everyone. Some people drink it just to have fun.
Or they
That's
like
just
the taste,
they enjoy the taste, or they
yeah.
enjoy, opening up a little bit more,
Yeah.
whatever it may be. But for me, I always saw alcohol as like a void that needed to be filled, and Christ was able to fill that for me at 15.
Yeah.
Literally at 15 years old. Most people would be like 15, whatever. But no, 15 years old, that's if he was able to fulfill me at any part of my life.
Yeah.
So, it was almost like growing up, I didn't really care for it. I wanted to try it, see how it was. But then it was like, now following Christ, it was like, oh, this is a perfect excuse. If anyone asks, do you want to drink? Instead of telling them my whole background of why I don't want one, I can just simply say, I'm okay. I'm a Christian. I don't want to drink.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's against our religion to drink. I'm
Yeah.
not saying you shouldn't drink and
Yeah.
you're a terrible person if you drink. I'm not saying that. But for me, it was like the perfect excuse to be like,
Well, and
I'm okay.
Something that you said was you were like, alcohol did that. Like you said that you saw alcohol do all these terrible things in your life. And it's like, alcohol isn't inherently bad, although really truthfully, like it was designed to
It can
fill
lead.
the void.
Yeah.
It can lead to be inherently bad, especially on how you use it and abuse it.
Yep.
Because
And that's
like
with anything,
you said,
right?
we know people that they just want to have one glass of wine because they like the taste or whatever it may be in like a social gathering. And so they're not drinking with the intent to get drunk. And I think the Bible is very clear about being in a drunken state of mind is not of Christ. And you are unconsciously in a just an unconscious state, and you're not capable and aware of your surroundings and what you're doing, and you can't minister and be a vessel for Christ when you're in that state of mind.
Yeah.
And I know for me, I've had many experiences in my life where I have been drunk and I have not enjoyed it. It has never brought any fruit. Any good, valuable things have came in my life from being drunk. It has only led to stupid decisions or feeling like crap, and it hasn't brought any true joy to me. Just sure, fun, crazy, stupid memories, but I can just look back and be like, I could have gone without, but why didn't I? Because I cared more about what man thought of me, what my friends thought of me, what society thought of me than I did Christ. And one of my friends, Abby, anytime I'm in like a social environment with her, she will not drink because of her relationship with Christ. And I just respect her so much for that, because she invites and opens the door to have conversation with unbelievers because of that.
Yeah.
Like no one's going to walk up to me if I have a martini in my hand and ask me, if I'm a Christian, right? But like with Abby, if she's drinking water, people walk up to her and they'll literally be like, what are you drinking? And she's like, water. And they're like, why? And then she gets to open the door and be like, well, because, of my belief system, like I believe in Jesus and it's just not something that I desire. Like he fills that void for me. I don't have this desire to drink or get drunk or whatever it may be. And I just can't relate to that because I've struggled so much with the way that people think about me. And obviously it's changed so much over the years. Like now for us, like, when we're out with friends or whatever, sure, we'll have like a casual drink like once in a while, but we are in a season of our life where we're like, we're going to get drunk or let's do this because it's not of God. It is a sin.
Mm-hmm.
It is not right. And we should not be doing that or participating in that. So, I'll have a casual glass of wine when Hunter's painting my toenails and I'm chilling just with my husband at home in a safe place, not with the intent to get drunk. But I think truly it's how you use and abuse the alcohol for sure, but also it doesn't lead to any fruit and any goodness to come from it when you drink it like that in that way. So anyways, I think that answers the question.
Yeah, and I wanted to kind of expand on that too in terms of friends and being around man and just wanting to always kind of fulfill other people's desires. I think there's been a lot of times with me and Sam, we'll go out with friends and sometimes I think it's a respect thing. Like, hey, are you okay if you go out and drink with us? Which we're okay. Like, thank you
Yeah.
for asking. We appreciate that.
Yeah.
But no, if you're listening to this, we do not care if you drink. That has nothing to do with us.
That's you.
That's
You do
all
you.
you. We don't care. We're not
gonna
judging
judge
you.
for it.
Like, we may have a drink with you. Likely not. I mean, if you're one of the 2 of the year that I have, then probably not. But hey, you never know. But absolutely, go for it. We don't care personally. But we've had times in our past where we've had friends, especially in like college,
Yeah.
where it's almost like they're almost judging us in a way. Like,
Yeah.
hey, do you think Hunter and Sam can go to the bar with us? You know, at 12, like that's kind of late for them. They don't drink. Like, are they okay? Or they'll like hide things from us so that we don't see, so that we don't judge them. And I'm just like,
Yeah.
we don't care. Like it sucks. It always sucked feeling that way. So I think there's been times growing up in college
Yeah.
and stuff where we were like, we felt like we needed to drink to
Just for people to
just
see
to
that
participate
we're
and
like
to be
normal.
popular, right? Like
Yeah.
to just see that we're normal. We're not there to judge. Like it's almost like, all right, I'm going to get hammered with you just so that you can understand that I'm not judging you.
But we're not going to do that.
But we're not. But you know what I'm saying? Like
yeah.
it's just like we've felt that sometimes, and it's a terrible feeling. And I think a
And
lot of Christians have felt that.
Yeah, but I think that feeling always stems from like insecurity of your relationship with Christ at the end of the
100%.
day.
Yeah,
Because
it
if
should
you're
just be-
secure
You should simply just be like,
in your relationship with Christ, then it's like, I don't really care what you do, how you do it. I get to make my own decisions, and my decision is I'm not going to participate in that, or I'm not going to drink. Invite me, please. I'd love to be there, but that doesn't mean I have to like participate in what you're doing.
yeah. And
You know
I
what
think
I
our
mean?
friends truly respect that now.
They do. Yeah.
I think at first it was kind of a struggle when, you know, everyone was able to start drinking and
yeah.
everyone was drinking. It was like, come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. And now
That
it's just
peer
kind of like,
pressure.
hey, are you going to drink? No, I'm okay.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Do you mind being the driver? Absolutely. I'll be the driver.
Now, have we ever done drugs? No. That's another topic we'll get into another day.
Yeah.
But never done drugs. Never been interested, never been desired.
Yeah, yeah, and again, that's my background. I'm good. Got some PTSD from that. Anyways.
Next question.
All right, next question. Have either of you struggled with your faith? Do you want to
Okay.
answer that one first, Sam?
Sure, I'll start by answering that. I've never.
Actually, I want to go first
Okay, go ahead.
because I don't want you to steal some of my stuff.
Okay, go ahead.
So, like I said earlier, we've already done some of these questions already, and we realized the microphone wasn't on. And some of these questions, I have heard Sam kind of steal some of my answers, so I've kind of had
okay.
to wrap
go ahead.
around it.
Go ahead.
All right. Anyways, so for me, yes, I've struggled with my faith. On our other podcasts that you guys will never hear because Sam's mic was not on, I was confused with the question in terms of belief and faith. I confused faith with belief, and I've struggled with my faith, but I've never struggled with my belief. For my faith, I think when I was younger, I struggled a lot because I didn't have this firm foundation. I think when I found Christ, it was all about this feeling. It wasn't about this relationship I had with Christ. It was just about this just feeling of like,
Yeah.
oh, thank you for filling this void. Thank you so much. And then if anything bad happened, it was like, what the heck?
You suck.
You suck. Like, what the heck? And now I was talking about it with somebody the other day, and it's all about this firm foundation. You need to be at the center line at all
Christ
times.
is my firm
Exactly. We all know that song.
foundation. Yep.
And it's a true statement. Like, you need to be a rock that cannot be moved.
Yeah.
Because in life, there's always going to be these highs. There's always going to be these lows. And if you can just stay at a center line and at this firm foundation, you will be okay. So for me, I am super happy when great things happen. When my prayers are answered, I am very happy. But when my prayers aren't answered, I'm also not extremely low.
Right.
Because I'm at the center line. Like,
Yeah.
it's almost, I always think of it like a stock market. Like, right now, we've been looking a little bit into like index universal life insurance.
Yeah.
And one thing with that is you can never go negative, but you
Yeah.
also can't go too high. It's like 13% that you can go,
Yeah.
and there's a floor of 0%. So for us, we have a floor, and that's kind of how our faith is
Yeah.
with everything there is. Like, we're never going to be so negative to where we disconnect with
Because we have a
Jesus.
firm foundation.
We will always have a connection, and we will always have a firm foundation. But we also won't get extremely high because, again, when you get extremely high, there's only so far you can come, or your only other direction is down. So, yeah.
That's such a good way that you just explained that, like on the most basic level. I love that because I mean, to answer that, like, I've never struggled with my belief. Like, I believe in Jesus. I've always believed in Jesus since I received him in my heart, and I've never wavered in that.
Yeah.
But have I struggled in seasons of, disappointment and doubt and discouragement, feeling, right? It all goes back to feelings, feeling like, is God answering my prayers? Is he here for me? Like, does he like truly care about me and getting my heart's desire and all that stuff? Anytime I've been in those lows, it's always been about me, 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 me.
Yeah.
It hasn't been the focus on Christ. What are you trying to teach me through this? How are you revealing yourself to me through this? Anytime I am struggling with my faith, it's because I'm in control. And when you're in control, God can't be in control because you're deciding that you know better than him, and you know what the next best step is. When God is like, trust me, lean on me. Like, if he can be in control and you're out of control, then you can just follow his plan. And so I think for me, like, my faith has wavered in that because you help center me, because I am the kind of person, like, super optimist. So like when something really good happens, I'm like so high, so excited. And then Hunter can see me like escalate really quickly down when it doesn't go the way that I had hoped or that I had planned, because I have so much hope and so much excitement and optimism for things that God brings into my path. And Hunter's a realist. And he's like, listen, Sam, like, I'm with you. Like, I hope and I'm believing with you, and we're going to walk this out, that this is going to happen. But I just want you to like be a realist and understand, if it doesn't happen this way, it's okay. Yeah. It doesn't mean that God doesn't love you. It doesn't mean that he doesn't still have good plans for you. It doesn't mean that he's forgotten you. It just means that it looks a little different, and that's okay, because he knows what's best for us. And so you really help center me in that, because I can go into just heavenly places and just see the best things to come and not be a realist sometimes. But anyways, to answer that, I think that
it's funny.
You have to be connected, and you can kind of dive into that further, like how you have to be so deeply connected to make sure your faith doesn't waver.
Yeah. Well, I want to follow up with your highs and lows, because I think you're hilarious, because you are the type that's like, I'm going to sleep 12 hours tonight and I'm going to sleep so good. But here's the problem with that. This is just an example of like a high and low. Sam's like, I'm going to sleep 12 hours tonight. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. Here we go. Let's go to sleep. And then if a fire alarm goes off and now you're only going to get like 6 hours of sleep, you're going to be so disappointed. Whereas me, when I go to sleep, I'm going to say, I'm going to be happy with 7 hours tonight. Yeah. If I get 7 hours of sleep tonight, I'm going to be happy. Because now if I get 12, great. If I get 4, we're close to 7. Like, that's what I mean by that firm foundation and that midline. Giannis Antetokounmpo, my favorite name to say. He plays for the Bucks.
What?
And Giannis Antetokounmpo. It's
Why
like
did you
French
just put a little
Greek
accent on that?
Giannis Antetokounmpo.
Okay, go ahead.
I love saying his name.
Do your thing.
A couple years back, right before they won the championship, he was down 2-1, and I think it was 2-1, something like that. And one of the reporters asked him after the game, they had lost, being down 2-1. They're like, why are you not so upset? And he's like, he's a huge believer too, by the way. I'm sure this is where he kind of got his answer from, but he basically was like, because I have a center line, and like anything that happens that is super bad, I'm not going to get super low. And anything that happens that's really good, I'm not going to get super high.
Yeah.
So I kind of learned a little bit from him, but I also just learned that just in my faith. So. Yeah.
No, and that's so good. And I love that you just kind of gave him as an example, because even him just saying that, I'm sure on national television, made so many people go,
what does he mean by that?
Yeah, and my mindset needs to be like that. Mm-hmm. And just to finish this question, when you're deeply connected into a church family, into groups and Bible studies, and you have accountability partners, it's really hard to not stay consistent in your faith. Yeah. Our pastor just talked about this the other day. Like, when you first get saved and you first get baptized, you're on a high. Yep. You're so high. You're like, God is so good and he's life-changing, and you're just on a high. And then a month later, something bad happens in your life. And you're like, it's okay. Like, I trust God. And then another bad thing happens, another bad thing happens. And what happens over time sometimes when you're not deeply connected into community and on a firm foundation is then you start to doubt and question yourself. Yep. And then you start to fall out of your consistency. And it's so important to be consistent in your faith every single day, to be consistently pursuing a relationship with Jesus, but also needing people in your life who've got your back.
Yeah.
Like, I know if I come to Hunter and I say something that is unaligned with God's word, he's gonna whip me back into shape real quickly and say, Sam, stop invalidating yourself. This is what God says about you. If you don't have those kind of people in your life, you need to change who you're surrounding yourself with. You need to get connected into a church family. You need to get into a Bible study groups, because I always tell myself this, when you have a date on a calendar, you're not going to quit. I tell my business partners this all the time. If you have a day for your business launch or your next party or your next connection, your next prospect, whatever it may be, your next phone call, if you set a day on the calendar for your next appointment, you're not going to quit. Why? Because you have that day on the calendar. If you have church on Sundays on your calendar, Bible studies on Thursdays on your calendar, community groups on Saturdays on your calendar, you're not going to quit.
Amen.
Because you're going to have people that are going to be like, where are you? Why didn't you show up today?
Yep.
And then you're going to be like, oh, I need to be there. Not because it's a chore or a task or something to check off, because you know by going, it's what you need to do to continue to grow in your faith. So anyways, get deeply connected, and that's going to help your faith be so unwavering.
Amen. I love it. All right. I feel like our questions got a little bit deeper as we were going there. So we're going to lighten the mood here. Last question, because we're running a little bit out of time. But last question. How was sleep training, and how did you deal with the crying?
Okay, so we're going through sleep training right now, but not really, because Layton's only like a little over 3 months old, and we really don't start taking it seriously until about 5 months.
Yeah.
Because it's very normal for babies to wake up 2 to 3 times a night to be able to feed in the first, 5 months. And so right now, like, I'm still getting up, multiple times a night. We're rotating. I think we're making it a little bit harder on ourselves this time, because with Lily, we kind of co-slept with her.
Yeah.
For a little bit of our journey, and so we didn't really take her seriously till 5 months to sleep train, and then she got it in like 2 weeks.
Yep.
And then was sleeping about 12 hours a night. So I think we just need to do the same thing with Layton, but we don't let our kids cry it out. We don't agree with the cry it out method. We are there to support them through their cries and through their emotions.
We don't hate you if you do the cry out method.
No, we don't. I'm sure our parents did it on us. It was a method that a lot of parents followed,
out okay.
But I don't, just from the research that's came out about it, I don't personally agree with it or align with it. And that's fine. That's just my personal beliefs, because if my baby's crying out in the middle of the night, it's because they need me. They need something. If they wake up out of their sleep and they're having a hard time, I want to be there to support them. I don't want them to feel abandoned and like I'm not there for them. So it is hard even doing our method, where they are still kind of crying and processing their emotions, but you're there for them. You're comforting them. You're just not picking them up and taking them into your room.
Yeah.
Like, it's different. It's like, I'm going to support you here in your room, in your environment, go back to sleep. Even at 5 months old, it's not, okay, I'm taking you in. Cause if you start that pattern, it's really hard to break it. Cause at that 5 month stage, they know that if you do that once, they can wake up, cry, and do it again and again and again. So that's kind of a turning point, I think, for us, is that 5 to 6 month range, which is when we go, okay, now's the time we're gonna teach them how to sleep in their room.
Yeah, I mean, I think his sleep training is going okay. It's going how it should. It's a little bit different than Lily, just because, like you were saying, co-sleeping. We would, if Lily got up at like 3, 4 a.m., we'd grab her, bring her into the room. But we also kept Lily in our room in the bassinet until she was like 3 or 4 months.
Longer.
We didn't move her into her own room, and like we did Layton. Layton, we moved in right 2 months right quickly when she was able to, and got started. And I would say it's going okay. It's not going terrible, but it's not going the best. But we're getting through it. And the other part of that question is, how do you deal with the crying? I think a big part of that is simply just, when you are stressed out, set the baby down, walk away, pray, whatever it may be, because that crying is terrible.
Rotate.
I've said this before on our podcast. I understand why in torture chambers they put crying noises in their ear, because it's awful. It sucks. Yeah. It's annoying. So for me and Sam, we rotate throughout the night all the time. So right now we have a system where, like, if Lily wakes up anytime before 2 a.m. Layton. If Layton wakes up anytime before 2 a.m., I get it. And then anything after 2 a.m., Sam gets it. And that's just because I get up at 5:30 for work. And so it's kind of like...
But most days I'm up at that time too, starting my day with Layton.
Yeah,
so we're just grinding it out over here. It's just the season. It's just a season. It's not forever. And having a support person to rotate with is everything. Me and Hunter are equal in everything that we split with our children. And so it's just a system that we've both been consistent in. And it does help, because when he's getting frustrated in the middle of the night and it's taken him 45 minutes to try to get her down, I notice that and I go in there, or vice versa. And I'm like, let's switch. And he does the same for me. Like, we're always still watching and aware. And we have each other's backs. So hopefully that encourages you. But is that all of our questions? I think we're done.
It's most of our questions. But what we're going to do is some of these questions were a little bit deeper questions. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to turn some of those questions into episodes. So if we did not answer your question here, just know you might get a whole episode or podcast just
Sweet.
on one of the questions you have. And so we're going to expand on that, do a long episode on it, and we'll go from there. So
awesome. Well, I love that idea. And thank you guys so much for tuning in. If you're a new listener, thanks for being here. And as always, make sure that you give us a subscribe here on YouTube, or if you're listening on Apple or Spotify podcasts, go ahead and subscribe and follow us there so that you can get updated when we release new episodes, which is every other Monday. So come back here in 2 weeks and we'll have a new episode for you. We've almost been doing the podcast for a year, which is crazy. Maybe we'll do something cool for our 1 year. Who knows? But we want to just continue to expand our reach. So if you have a topic idea or a friend that you think could benefit from this episode, just send it their way. We'd be so grateful. Tag us over on Instagram when you're listening to our podcast. Share it to your story so that we can reshare it and just connect with you over there.
absolutely. And again, go follow or go subscribe on our YouTube page. Like it, share it, comment, whatever it may be. You don't even have to watch it. Just go really quick. Like, share, subscribe really quick. We're just trying to grow that over there, and it would really help us if you guys could just go do that. So I think
All right,
that's
you
it.
guys. Thanks so much for tuning
All right.
in. We'll see you in the next episode.
Later.